Hello, friends. Welcome to the TV is Our Real Mom podcast. I'm your host, Dave.
Hello, I'm Catie. Sorry.
What are you doing over there? You're not ready? You're not ready for the podcast?
No, I'm all flustered because I screwed up the last one, and now I already screwed up this one.
I don't know if that was your fault. We don't know what happened there. We just got done podcasting a little bit ago. Apologies if you were watching that one. We just kind of had to end it abruptly. So anyways, we just wanted to talk about Big Brother for a little bit. So
I guess we have to.
So this podcast, we're just going to make a little separate one here for Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you didn't listen to our other podcast, feel free to go back and listen to, we talked about Game of Thrones and Alone. And that's about it. Nothing too much else. But yeah, so we're just going to jump into Big Brother here in this little podcast. Catie, what is happening in the house?
I don't know how to put it into words.
Well, I mean, I've heard some things. So what
have you heard?
What's going on with Jessica and Cody? Okay, so last I heard, let me tell you what I've heard.
Okay.
Last I heard, the whole house was ganging up on Cody, basically throwing shit at him about messing with his PTSD or they were trying to get him to freak out and attack Josh or something, hoping that he would actually hurt him or something.
Yeah.
Twisted? Am I getting it twisted?
This whole thing started because Paul wanted to come up with a plan that would lead Jessica not to use the halting hex on Thursday because she and Cody are nominated. They are the final nominees. The veto was played, and the third nominee was just removed, Jason. So the two left on the block are Cody and Jess, and she has the power to halt the eviction just cancel it for the night.
Shit, dude, we should say spoilers, right?
Oh, sorry, live feed spoilers.
we should probably specify.
I'll put that in the description.
Yeah, let's try to remember to put that in the description at least. But
yeah,
spoilers. Yeah, if this is stuff that hasn't happened on the show yet, right?
Right, they have a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cody and Jess are still on the block. So Paul, he doesn't see the value in just flushing the hex. If he had seen that as a good move in itself, there's nothing after the veto ceremony. He doesn't need to do anything. He lets it lie. He lets her use the hex, lets the power get flushed out. Don't ruffle any more feathers and just start over. It sucks that you've had 2 HOHs and you've got nobody out of the house. Yeah, that sucks. But you just have to shake it off in this game. But he took the opposite approach and decided to try to find a way to get Jessica to not use the hex. The first thing he did was make this deal with her. If you don't use the hex, we'll give you 2 weeks safety and we will get out the person you want to get out, which is Alex. Not meaning any of this. Paul was never going to stick to that plan. But something happened and Jess just changed her mind and all of a sudden kind of went after people a little bit, said, screw you guys, it's us against you and we're going to come after you. We're going to use the hex, keep ourselves safe, and then just apparently just win competitions for the rest of the summer.
Yeah,
that's their plan. No, it's not going to happen.
Terrible idea.
And it sucks because the fandom completely gets behind this because they don't like Paul.
And Jessica and Cody have become the underdogs. So
yeah,
now the fans always root for the underdogs. I always root for the underdogs. We're so predictable. We don't pick somebody we like and stick with them. We just go for whoever is the underdog.
Yeah, and that's really what's happened. Paul when he found out Jess was not going to buy his plan, that she was just going to go gangbusters in the opposite direction, then all he had left was to just lie down and just, let it go. But that's not Paul's thing. So he goes the opposite. He gets his most loyal minions and decides they need to try to just get under Cody's skin to either, I think the original plan was to get him to flip out so that Jess wants him to go home for his own sanity, for his own safety, because that's kind of how it started in the beginning, that she was actually considering not using it because of that. And that's how it started out, but it eventually became very like vindictive and mean-spirited, and Christmas of all people had the idea to attack his military service. And like
it's like,
okay.
I know.
You know that do you know that Jonah Hill gif where he's like at some awards show and he's like, no, like that's exactly what goes through my head when somebody says something like that. Like, no, I mean, you can call him a shitty person, you can call him a meathead, whatever you want to call him, but even I know that that's like crossing a line. And I don't know how much they actually attacked it in the actual
even
bullying. Well, I'm not like this big patriotic, like God bless America. You know, it's just not me. But I still know that the people who go do that, I mean, you don't mess with that. That's a thing that's theirs. You don't touch it unless they want to talk about it. You certainly don't attack it because that's messed up.
Well, what's there to attack? I'm not sure I'm following this.
I don't even know either. Like they're like, oh, you think you're a Marine or some Marine you are? Like it's very childish.
Well, like they're gonna be like, what do you think, you're tough? Like
yeah,
you're a pussy. Like
or like questioning his if he actually served in the military. It's like
yeah, that's what I didn't understand. Like what exactly they were saying to him, because
I don't know.
Because like the people on the podcast that I was listening to, they all sounded like it was like really bad. Like they're like, this is getting really ugly. Like I don't like this. And I was like, I wonder what they're saying.
That was the only part to me that was ugly. And that's granted, that's a big part. Like don't.
Well, whatever you said so far doesn't sound that bad. Like they had to have said
to be honest, I didn't watch it. I read about it. I couldn't bring myself to watch that ludicrousness.
They had to have said something worse than what
I'm sure. I don't even know. Like
because everyone was flipping out in this
people
podcast.
Were flipping out more in the planning of it because Christmas and Paul and those guys were really like sounding like he when they were talking about attacking his military service.
Okay, so it's more like they were upset at the idea of exploiting like let's use his like military experience and like try to bring out the crazy in him or something. His
either
PTSD.
that or try to make him feel like where you're questioning his experience.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, so it was ridiculous. And
also, can you remind me, is Paul immune after this?
No, he's been not immune for a couple weeks now.
Really? I thought he was immune for 3 weeks. Has it really been that long?
It's been like 5 weeks. He was not safe last week. Jess could have put him up, but she's a dumbass and she didn't.
I didn't know he was already safe. I thought this was his last week.
No, he's been free.
He was already not safe. Sorry, yeah.
No, he's been free and clear for a couple weeks now.
Well, yeah. What the hell are they doing, man?
They're idiots. Jess had all the power last week. Cody came back into the house. She won HOH. She won POV. She had the halting hex. She got Ramses out of the house. Someone who could have been her ally. She messed up so bad that it rivals Cody's first HOH of the season. Like,
yeah, that's just
so
terrible.
bad at this game. And like that's why I get so frustrated with people who were like, yes, Jess, yes, Cody. Like, listen to some of the things these people say. Like, none of these people are like saints, are people you want to like put on some pedestal and cheer for them. Like, these are not, just because one side of the house is, being ridiculous and horrible, doesn't mean the other side is worth cheering over. These are people that have made some pretty shitty comments themselves. So like, I hate that gets lost in everything, it becomes them versus them. And when they hate one side, this other side just gets elevated. And first of all, at a very basic Big Brother level, they suck at playing this game. Like they really suck. It's really, really bad.
No, I mean, I don't even know a lot about Big Brother, and I can tell that they're horrible at the game.
And the thing is, Jess was doing well before he came back. He has been absolutely detrimental to her game. She doesn't have to have this, ooh, it's me versus the world thing, if not for him. If he's not there, she doesn't have to feel that way. But because this idiot can't socialize with a freaking, anyone other than this girl he wants to bang, then, like, I mean, what is she supposed to do with that? It's not a winning strategy, like being by yourselves. And I'm not saying they brought the bullying on themselves. I don't even want to use that word because it was just like, that's not even what it was. But they isolated themselves this whole entire game, with the exception of the week before the feeds turned on. Like, they have been in a room by themselves. And I don't understand how, I don't know. It went too far. It's a ridiculous display. And this week doesn't even count. So it's like pointless to even analyze it because it's setting things up for the future, but nothing that happened this week matters with the exception of this fighting stuff, which will play a role down the line.
Yeah, I think this halting hex thing is like absolutely terrible for the show as like for the season as a piece of entertainment, because ultimately what you're doing is saying like something terribly predictable, we're going to drag it out a whole nother week before it gets to happen and we get to move forward with the actual game. And on top of that, this predictable thing that's going to happen involves losing the people that your viewers are rallying behind right now for whatever reason, for better or worse. I mean, they're terrible players. No one really should be behind them. You should want them out of the house so the worst gamers can be gone. But like, yeah, you're getting rid of those people. The fans are behind, and you're dragging it out an extra week. It's just prolonging the inevitable.
They're like 6 or 7 weeks into this thing, and they still have 12 freaking people in the house. Like, it's ridiculous. And Jess, you know, was at a point where she was doing really well in the game, and now she's moved ahead of Cody. They want her out first. They want her out before they want Cody out. Like, that's what she has done.
Yeah, they could have played it so much better. Like, if they're going to stall, you should be damage controlling starting yesterday, you know. She
should have, the night after she revealed that she had the temptation, or that very night, she should have gone to Paul and been like, okay, this is what it is. I'm being straight up with you. There's no point in putting me and Cody up because we're not going to go home. So you need to nominate somebody else this week. And he would have been fine with that because he already had 2 backup targets in mind. And instead, she chose to make it this war. I mean, she didn't make it a war at first, but she chose to do the, you know, it's us two versus the house. And that is entertaining for a while. Like, yeah, that gets fans on your side. That gets your adrenaline pumping. And it, you know, it's good for a week of feeds. It is terrible gameplay. Like, I can't think of one good move she's made. And she's had chances to make good moves. And she has spit on every one of them. The only thing that she's, like, people are giving her credit for is figuring out Paul's game. And I'm like, she's been in the house with this guy for 6 weeks, and you think just figuring it out now, like, deserves some type of reward? Like, she's only figuring it out because he's not working for her right now. And maybe people will listen to her, but one thing Paul accomplished by what happened yesterday is, like, these two are like pariahs now. Like, no one's going to go near them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's predictable. You're just stalling 1 week. Nothing's going to change, only because they blew it. Yeah. Like, if they would have done something different, you know, maybe something. I think
they had a lot of opportunities to play this differently. And I'm not saying Paul shouldn't have played this differently. They all should have played this differently. Like, that is not how you handle this situation. Paul isn't getting what he wants this week, so instead of just, you know, calming down, he's doing the exact opposite because that's who he is. And it sucks. I was thinking this morning, I was like, you know, like, a decent person would go up to those two this morning and be like, hey guys, I'm sorry it got to that level yesterday. It was ridiculous. I was mad I didn't get my way. I was throwing a tantrum, and you guys were unfortunately in the line of fire. It won't happen again. Let's have a good rest of the week. Use the hex, don't use the hex, whatever. Let's just be civil. And maybe they wouldn't have bought it, but it would have been like a nice peacekeeping gesture. But Paul is so up his own ass. He's got such a big ego that he won't even admit that what he was doing was wrong. Somehow they were going around saying Cody and Jess were the bullies. And it was like, okay, maybe in the beginning they did some things that were mean. They did. They definitely did. But, like, nothing justifies that horrible display last night. Like, that was so ridiculous.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
What gets me though is like the people podcasting about it and stuff. They act all like surprised that like Big Brother is that trashy horror that people are being bad people on Big Brother and they're being trashy.
It's like, do you remember?
Like, this is Big Brother, man. Like, this is the trashiest of the trash. Like, are you really surprised? Or are you appalled? Like, do you know what show you're watching? Like,
thank you. Like,
come on. Like, let's be real. Let's be real here. You know,
I recently watched All Stars, and to myself, I'm thinking, Dr. Will would not get away with this shit. Like, if he was on now in the Twitter age, he would be ripped to shreds. And stuff Evil Dick said was way beyond anything that has happened. And yet these are people that are like, you know, put on pedestals in the community. So it's like, the fandom is just so fickle. When you can see someone's actions and behavior in this pressure cooker environment and they're on day 41 or 42, they are starting to lose it, okay? Because they've tried to get these people out of the house like many times and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and Cody's back.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have come back. He should not have come back. It was ridiculous that he came back. I don't even know why people wanted it, because I guess it's created this drama, but is this the drama you wanted? Like, you can't say you want lit feeds and then go cry that this is such a...
It's the wrong kind of drama. It's the wrong drama. This isn't what I wanted.
No, it's ridiculous. Like, a year from, like, after the season is over, these people are going to be taking pictures together, visiting each other. Like, it's going to be fine.
It always is.
I mean, it's just, no one's a saint here. No one's a murderer that we know of. I'm still a little bit skeptical of Cody.
I'm sure he's killed people.
Well, with probably at war, but like
under military purposes, yeah.
But I'm saying I have questions about maybe, I don't know. He has a serial killer vibe.
Okay.
But it is what it is. This is what you sign up for. These are not good. I mean, they're not good people, but they're not perfect people.
Right. What else? What else is happening? Is that it? Is that everything?
I mean, I don't feel like there's any point in discussing any strategy because, like, this week is moot. Not mute, as Jessica would say.
It's like maybe a good short podcast to just talk about, like, what this craziness that was going on around this time. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be super boring for the next like 2 weeks or whatever, 1 week at least.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see who wins HOH on Thursday, because last time it was 10 against 2. One of the two won. So they really need someone on their side to win, but production doesn't always want that to happen.
Right. I mean, like, what good does it do them? Even if they get HOH, I mean, can they really save both of them?
I mean, if Cody wins HOH, yeah, Jess is fine for the week.
How's that?
So, because why would he nominate her?
Oh, he's the one. That's the person who gets to nominate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to nominate her.
Aren't there like 3 nominees though, or is that not?
There are 2 nominees, but now there's this new twist that there's this new temptation competition, and if you choose to participate in it, if you get first, you're safe, but if you get last, you're the 3rd nominee. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's fine.
Do you think Cody will compete in that? Cody and Jess?
Yeah, I think they both would. I don't think there's any way Cody gets last place unless it's like math or science.
Well, what about Jess?
There's a chance. I don't know. She's a pretty good competitor too.
Like, yeah, let's say Cody is HOH, Jess competes in this thing and gets
She would
last
not
place.
compete if he was HOH.
If he was HOH, she just won't compete.
No, because there's no way he's putting her up. So why risk going up as the 3rd nominee?
Right. You'd want to go compete for that if you're like Paul or something.
Yeah, Paul would have to go compete for that for sure.
Because he would never get last. Is like Cody, who is Cody's main target? Is it Paul?
Paul, like, they would backdoor Paul, so there is incentive for Paul to throw the temptation competition and be the 3rd nominee just so he can compete in veto and potentially win the veto and take himself off.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
There's all kinds of strategy that comes into play once they release a new twist into the game, and this is no different. But they're already talking about that kind of stuff for next week. Like if Jess wins, if Cody wins, who's going to compete? They're going to there will be all kinds of talks about who will compete and why.
Okay.
Because HOH can't compete, so Cody couldn't compete, and why would Jess compete? So he'd be going against his own people, and they would either throw it to him or let him throw it back.
But whoever gets last goes on the block, so
yeah.
That's the downside.
So that's one thing they'd have to discuss. They could just say, okay,
what if one person competes? Do they get first place and last place?
If one person competes, they automatically are safe for the week. So I could see Paul's team doing that. But that's stupid because then who are they going to put up? You guys.
Right. And
don't risk your game for his. Stop doing that.
If you can't put up Paul, who do you put up?
At this point, I'd say
Alex?
Raven's going up. And Alex, probably. Raven and Alex.
I just remember you saying that Jess wanted Alex, and I feel like Cody's going to put up whoever Jess wants.
I think Alex and Raven would go up because they were the two, other than Paul and Josh, that were really going after them last night.
Yikes.
Raven was. Ooh,
hey, that's what I heard is like Raven went from like Southern Belle to like.
She got some white trash in her.
A twisted, evil little person.
Well. You know what they say.
What do they say?
I don't know what they say. I just said that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they say.
That's what they say. You know what they say. That's what they say. They say you know what they say.
That's like the snake eating its own tail.
Yeah, it's confusing. Anything else you want to talk about? Characters? You want to talk about Josh at all?
Yeah, he's just Paul's dog.
Yeah.
So is Raven. At least Matt was kind of like not into it, but then he's like, they attacked Raven, so I'm not having it anymore. And it's like, no, they didn't even attack Raven. She's just a drama queen. Kevin was.
Sorry.
I was just going to say Kevin's still around and not really getting into that, so that's good.
Oh, good. Yeah. Alex Kidwell had this awesome analogy for Josh.
Yeah.
He was saying like Josh is missing like part of the book or something. Like you read the wrong parts of the book, and it's like when someone puts the bookshelf together without reading all the instructions, and it's upside down and backwards. Like I think he's referring to like his game, how he tries to do like all these like flashy things, like to be this like
for it to stand on.
Yeah, he does all the like stupid, crazy shit, but none of the wisdom behind like the strategy, you know.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
It's all just ridiculous. And the only people I can even stand at this point are Kevin, maybe Jason. I mean, Jason said some questionable things as well. They all probably have because they're human beings. But those two go on walks in the morning together and just talk about life. And that's like the feeds at their best, to be honest.
That's, you said Jason and Kevin?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, these are the two most like down to earth people in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not dumb either.
No, I mean, I thought Whistlenut was dumb, but he has moments of dumb. But moments of not dumb.
Aren't they the oldest?
Yeah, they're the two married people in the house. They have a lot in common. They just like to shoot the breeze, and it's refreshing in a house like that where Cody talks about how the Earth is 6,000 years old. I think Jessica is slowly questioning her decision to mate with this man.
Right. I think she's going to realize like, I mean, I can see like sort of his conventional physical attractiveness, and that's probably all she saw too. And eventually I don't think she's going to go for it.
It's not going to work. The other thing that bothers me about him is like when she told him something about like how she didn't like the way he handled himself. And this is a pet peeve of mine when people just go, that's just who I am. Like they refuse to bend a little bit and like compromise and try to change their shitty behavior. They just fall back on the excuse, oh, that's just me, accept it or I'm leaving. Like that's not how this works. So I appreciate Jessica and Elena too, for like, they don't just give in to their men. They like stand up for them and tell them when they're being shitty, but eventually go back to them. So
yeah, It's like I just killed a man, and you're like, you can't kill a man.
You can't do that.
And I'm like,
Come on.
but that's just who I am. Like, I'm sorry,
Accept
you're gonna take it or leave it.
I just hate that. I hate that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
nuts.
Kind of weird. Okay. Anybody else you want to talk about?
No, I'm sorry if I got a little heated there. I was.
No, that's good. That's what the people want, Catie. That's what the people want.
I just found the whole display yesterday and the reaction to it really frustrating.
See, there's certain things the audience, I'm sure, is okay with us being butthurt about, and certain things like they, where it's like, oh, we're just complaining all the time. Like, why are we even watching this show if it's so bad? Like, I always think back to like when we were so mad about the Michelle win in Survivor,
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, you guys are
butthurt.
You guys are all, and they're probably right. And it's like,
they were right.
We were just bitching, It's like, are we even enjoying this? And kind of like The Walking Dead, it's like, why are we even watching this if we're bitching? And we did stop watching, but like, I don't know. There are times, and Big Brother is a perfect example, I think, where it's like part of the fun is bitching. Like
that's what it's a show you love to hate and hate to love.
Exactly. So this is a really good platform for you to bitch about,
because not that many people watch. And there are moments that redeem it. Like there are moments like when Austin gets evicted in season 17. Like there are moments that redeem those terrible moments and where you stand up and cheer and you remember why you love this show.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully we get some of that.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say in this show in particular, that's what the people want, Catie. They want to hear you vent and get heated. That's what they want.
Okay, well, I hope it was okay and not over the line in any way. If it was, I'm sorry.
So keep bringing it. Keep bringing the heat. All right. Any final thoughts?
No, we're getting closer to the end of this thing. We're almost halfway.
Halfway, through Big Brother?
Yeah.
Wow, and we've lost how many contestants? 4 or something? 5? 4 or 5?
5, because one quit.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at TVIsOurRealMom. And be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.